our very own Bach and the Subway Orchestra, playing the 4th Brandenburg Concerto at their leisure. Bach's music together. So, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Noreen Zaki.
Johan Ermista.
Akina Miota.
Alon Swinek.
Dustin History.
Sarah Fong.
Shelby Eaton.
Sandra Center.
Okay, so we're going to have some cake and punch. I'm going to make just a point. This is an acoustic music school that specializes in teaching the folk arts. But back in Bach's day, 330 years ago, there wasn't the distinction between classical and folk music that has developed in the last 150 years. Nowadays, we think of classical music as inside of a music hall, and it's a concert, it's a very stuffy thing you go to. In Bach's day, much of the music was improvised as you went, and a lot of it was written down after the fact. And a lot of times, Bach would never play the same thing twice. In his day, it was very common to have dueling harpsichords or dueling violins, and these would be like the people in the square would gather around, and they would take a theme, and they had to improvise on it. And then the people would clap for the winner. So there's a famous story that someone challenged Bach to a harpsichord duel. And so they got to the church, and they had the two harpsichords set up, and this gentleman came in, and they had a little chance to warm up, and he heard Bach warming up. and he hightailed it out of town. And so then, as a favor to the community, Bach sat and improvised for 6 hours straight. So there's a big corollary between folk music and this kind of music. It's not as stuffy as people now tend to think of classical music. Now, Bach also used a lot of what they call figured bass, where he would write down a bass line, and then the musicians would improvise off of it. And that is very much what jazz musicians do today. So there's many, many corollaries between the traditions that Bach kind of presaged and saw ahead of his time. He was most noted for being an organist and a great musician rather than a composer. And when he died without a will. So his estate was divided up according to the rules of the land, which was a third of it went to his wife, who outlived him, and the other 2/3 went to his remaining sons and children, which were many. And many of them were poor. And the manuscript paper that they inherited with all his writings on, sometimes they would sell it just for the paper, and it would be used to wrap fish in the fish market. And a lot of it was, he just like wrote, he found the idiom of writing music extremely easy for him. He could do it in his head, and he could just put it on paper as fast as it would come out of his head. His whole life was just streams of writing down these things that would come from his head. And he also had a rich family life. He had 2 wives. He lost his mother when he was 9, or his father when he was 9, and his mother when he was 10. Numerous children died along the way. He had an extremely emotionally fulfilling and rich life. And the music just poured out of him. And if it wasn't just being improvised, people would come around and write it down, or he would write it down. And it was often his habit, after he put the children to bed, to go into a closet with candles and cognac and drink the night away and just write stuff. He loved using counterpoint and little melodies and using architecture to build these little melodies and these fugues and little snippets that would kind of build and weave and interact, and then this whole incredible architecture of a piece of work would emerge. And this would just come out of him. He didn't spend a lot of time worrying about it or suffering over it. He just did it. And so today, after today's performance, how many in here are students who would like to perform some Bach? We have 2 or 3 here. So why don't we have some cake, and then while people are eating cake, we're going to have some student performances and some teacher performances and some anyone else who would like to get up and perform.
We might play a trio.
Trio, okay.
You're on the
So, would everyone like cake first, or do any of you have to leave to do it?